And it says we are live. Hi, everyone. Number one Marmaduke fan here. And this is not a Deltarune video. But one of the things I've always loved about this channel is having artists on to talk about their work and talking about comic projects that they're working on. And John Dillard, Gaming the System, is an old friend of the channel. Say hi, John.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing? I'm glad to be here with my good friend, my good buddy, Marmaduke.
So if this is your first time seeing John Dillard's work, what I've appreciated about him is John Dillard blew up on the comic Twitter scene doing fan art for other professional comic book artists. And I would just describe you have a couple styles you work in, but I describe you as someone who has just like a lot of energy and is just raring to go. And you will draw detailed stuff, but you will also draw fun cartoony stuff. And I would really encourage people to check out your YouTube channel because you're an independent comic book artist who is looking to break into the big time as a professional comic book artist. Is that right, John?
That's correct. Not necessarily break into the Marvel or DC, but just make sure that everybody knows my name.
Yeah. And you're a father, and you don't work in comic books currently right now, but sort of your channel has sort of been you documenting your journey as you promote yourself and create art, right?
Yeah, that's correct. My channel, my Gaming the System channel, is kind of chronicling how somebody who puts in the time to do the work and has the chops to be an artist, but doesn't want to go through the broken system of SJW, Marvel, and DC, can make a career for themselves doing comics and art without having to go through the appropriate and perfect channels. Kind of backdoor your way into everywhere you can get into.
It's not what you can do, it's who you know kind of vibe of some of the comic book industry today, right?
Right. Yes.
So for people who aren't familiar with your work, tell us about some of the comic projects you've done in the past, some you're working on now, and tell us about what you're drawing.
Oh yeah, some of the stuff I've done in the past. Well, I haven't been doing comics for that long, maybe about a year. So I had a couple of projects I was working on. I had one called Black Emerald that was on Indiegogo. I had a couple of other just fill-in pieces that I was doing for other people's projects in the Comicsgate community. And what we're starting on right now is what this is from, this picture. And this is from a project that I started called Tales from Beyond the Gate. And from what I was seeing, that there was no really horror anthologies that were out there that were any good. And what I decided to do was get a group of people from the Comicsgate community and start putting together short stories. It's a whole 100% a collaboration. And we even got like Ethan Van Sciver to commit to doing a page on it for free. He's going to do a little short.
Yeah, is that breaking news?
No, that came out of actually. I went live and I sent out invites to everyone, and he just popped up on our chats when we were hanging out in there. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, what is this? This looks great. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a page on this. I said, well, hell yeah, you can do a page on this.
And for those who don't know, Ethan Van Sciver was one of the top talents at DC, and he has one of the highest, one of the most financially successful independent comic projects all time from crowdfunding. So that's big news that he'll be contributing to your project. So Tales from Beyond the Gate, that's a dope title. Tell us about some of the artists who are contributing, and tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the project. Horror comics, right?
Yeah, it's horror. It's going to be one of those fun in the vein of the old EC Tales from the Crypt, that kind of thing. And it's going to be like PG-13, but it's going to be pretty much short stories between 8 and 12 pages per artist. And we're going to have about 100 pages in the book. And it's really cool because we get a bunch of people from our community, but all the people from our community are from different areas. Yeah. So we're getting a lot of folklore from Portugal. We're getting folklore from Canada. We're getting, people's views on how they see these scary stories and how it affected them, because I wanted to make sure that when we started, we do these scary stories as scary stories that actually scared you when you were growing up, things that actually got you scared, because we wanted to make it classical and fun, but at the same time, we still want people to walk away putting this book as they close it and being a little creeped out to go walk outside by themselves, you know?
which I think is the mark of good horror. It isn't necessarily that it throws a bunch of blood and guts in your face and grosses you out. It's that it leaves you a little unsettled, like a little unsure.
Yes, yes. Like for me, I'm not the biggest fan of the big grandiose gestures of horror. I like the horror stories that take place in one location, like in a house or inside of a cabin or something like that. You know,
Definitely.
I don't need to go all around the world looking for scary things.
Well, what can you tell us about the art we're looking at? How might this fit into Tales from Beyond the Gate?
Well, this is a cover, like a cover sheet. It's a every story is going to have like a little intro page, and it's going to have the title of the short story, and then on the bottom who it's going to be created by. This one is going to be by Chester Busby, who runs the Fanspeak channel, the Comicsgate Fanspeak, and it's going to be drawn by me. And this is the title is going to be La Llorona, who is a ghost in Hispanic folklore where I'm from.
Dope. And I've actually got all of the artists that you've given me who are contributing to this project. I've got their channels linked in the description of this video. So if you just click on the description, you'll see Chester Busby right there. He goes by Bugs Bear. Who else is contributing?
Yeah, we have another artist named Todd Mulrooney, and he has his own channel. And all these artists have their own channels, and this is the cool thing about this project is that I wanted to make sure that everybody that was involved in it was a YouTuber, a small time YouTuber, because of course you need platform to get, like, none of us are Ethan Van Sciver, none of us are John Malin or Mike Miller, so we can't get our projects out there and seen by everybody unless we all come and collaborate together, which essentially turns it into a marketing machine. Everybody will be able to go out there, and everybody that has a YouTube channel, we all hang out in one community, and we call ourselves the Gatekeepers, which is kind of like a tongue in cheek because Comicsgate has no gate and no gatekeepers, but we call ourselves the Gatekeepers because we ensure the gate remains open.
Right.
So we had Todd Mulrooney from Ignition, his channel. We have Manny Correa. He has a channel called Good Dog Press, and he's promoting his book right now called Skunk Girl. We have Rick Piper from Cross Comics, and he's doing one of his original characters. We got Tank Ferret from Tank Ferret Arts, and he's using his original character Scalpel Zero, and he's putting her in a book, and he's actually incorporating this story into his canon, and it's going to be like a prequel called Simon Says. It's a sci-fi, not sci-fi, but a cyberpunk like horror thing, and it's really cool. And we got a couple of other people, and what we're planning on doing is actually hiring some of the bigger named artists outright.
Wow.
To do one-page stories.
Are you planning a crowdfunding campaign at any point in the future?
Yes, we are.
Good. Well, you and the whole team are welcome for a big celebration on my channel. I'm sure with all of you having channels, you're probably going to have lots of opportunities to do live streams and stuff, but this is an open invite for you as a group or any of the individuals involved to join me on #1 Marmaduke Fan in the future.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Hey, I love it. It's artists supporting artists. I love scary stories. I love seeing artists come together for a compilation. So you are doing good work, sir. Let me see here. I'd like tell us anything else you'd like to tell us about Tales from Beyond the Gate that to get us excited for it.
Well, the main thing that I wanted to get out right now is that we still need one more writer and 2 more artists.
Okay.
To fill out kind of the quota that we want to have. So if people are out there, if any of you listeners are out there and they have channels, like YouTube channels or YouTubers or small time, and they want to actually put their best foot forward and try to make a real go of trying to be an artist in the community, that's what we're looking for. We need 2 more artists to fill in. We have 2 stories that are already completed the scripts, and to fill in those, and we need another writer to fill in another artist we have. And this, I believe, is going to be the best way for somebody who's relatively unknown, because we are going to be getting all these bigger names involved in this book. And we have, my goodness, I'm sorry about that.
That's right.
We are going to have this book coming out, and it's going to be sizable and it's going to be big. This is going to be a way for people to get their names out there and really start, making some moving and shaking in the community. And not only because of that, I mean, this book is going to be coming out biannually. So we're going to do the first book, which is Tales from Beyond the Gate, horror. And then we're going to do the second book, which is going to be Tales from Beyond the Gate, sci-fi.
Nice.
And we're going to try to do this twice a year. So, and then we're going to go to, noir, crime, mystery, all the old genres.
What's great about that is you can keep mixing it up and you can keep building a reputation. I think that's what Lady Death, the artist writers for that, they would just keep publishing new Lady Death stories and building their reputation, as like having a strong independent following.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and see if I can show you this real quick. This is the mock-up cover we have right now.
Oh wow! All right, let me present this to everyone so everyone can see.
Okay.
Because you don't want to see my goopy face. There we go. All right. So I see Ethan. I see.
Yeah, this is down here is Manny. Right below Ethan is Manny from Good Dog Press, and right below him is Tank from Tank Ferret Arts. And then we're doing the whole. I don't know if you remember the old EC comics where it would say, featuring these storytellers, and it would be the gatekeeper or the old witch or the crypt keeper, Yeah. So all of the cover is going to have all of the contributors to everyone that's presenting a story. And then of course there's me, Chester Busby, Rick Piper, Todd Mulrooney.
Yeah.
So so this is what it's going to be. So, well, this is not the final cover, of course, but this is just a mock-up cover.
Well, I dig the lettering though. It's definitely getting that old school horror vibe.
Yeah. So that's what we're planning on doing. And then, that lettering is going to stay the same. It's just this little area over here on the side that says horror will change.
Because it's Comic Sans?
Yes.
I thought you were trying to scare the typography students out there. Beware the Comic Sans.
So everything's going to be hand lettered anyway. But
so when you're seeking one writer and two artists, are they going to fill out the last couple spots on the page when they come in?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're looking for collaborators, people that are going to come in and hopefully continue with the book. Because we're kind of using this as like a promotion, because people are putting in really good stories.
Yeah.
And because I don't want nobody coming in and kind of like coattail writing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we want you to be part of we want to bring people into the community, because the thing is, I have a morning show every weekday morning. I also do live streams on the weekends. Every single one of these people has their own channels and they're all doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And we're bringing all of our fans together.
It's good if you can contribute something, I mean, some of these people aren't going to be big names in the industry, of course, but it's good if you can kind of pull your weight and help promote the book as much as you can.
Oh yeah. We also have to put John Malin on here, because John Malin said he was going to do a one-page story as well.
All right.
So yeah, and the thing is, I don't care if you come in and you have 3 followers, as long as you are good to your followers and you're a friend of the community and you share our principles, the Comicsgate principles. That's what we want,
That I dig, because I remember when you were just starting to do fan art. I mean, I've never seen someone with as much work ethic as you for knowing you have to build something and just going at it, because you would be doing this incredible work. And you just have, a few subscribers, and I'd sub and I just keep sharing it, because you are a gift to the independent comics community. You show love to people with all the fan art you do and all the enthusiasm you show for other comic artists.
No, I mean, to me anyway, independent artists and independent creators, it's really exciting, because these are stories that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
Like I can go and I can pick up an old Incredible Hulk and read the story that's been around, or the same type of story around the same character. But I really like hearing about new things and new characters. And that's what really gets me going. So,
we also have a couple questions for you. Underworld Dream asks, are you going to have a sexy pinup like the other Comicsgate Indiegogo projects have done?
We actually are. Because because we're going to launch, most likely we're going to launch February 1st. It may be March 1st, the Indiegogo campaign. But we want to launch February because we want to put out for free, just to get people interested, a 5-page romance horror.
Huh.
And the lead lady in that is going to be the pinup that we're going to be putting out with the campaign.
Yeah, I think it's becoming a CG tradition at this point.
It is, yeah.
I don't want to pin up him Cyberfrog, though.
Yeah, so we are. I think it'll probably be Heather Swain, but yeah, we are going to have a pinup in the thing, and we're going to have I mean, the thing is, we have Tank Ferret, and he is a former marketer, an internet marketer, and he has just this laundry list of ideas of all the things that we're going to be offering with the Indiegogo campaign.
Good.
So that's going to be fun.
I think that's another important thing for artists in the indie scene is pay attention to what success stories in the independent scene are doing. And even if it's just like a moderate success, learn from their model, learn from the things they offer. If you want to make it as an artist, you kind of have to teach yourself Tell us a little bit about maybe some of the practical things you've learned, at marketing yourself and maybe kind of the business aspect of promoting yourself as an artist.
Oh yeah, well that's pretty much what my channel is all about. My YouTube channel, which is John Dillard Gaming the System, is finding ways to either cheaply or freely get your name out there and get people to notice you when you're an unknown person. So what I did to get myself solidified in the community was I went around looking at all the different channels, and I found that they were having a drawing competition. So I went and finagled my way into that by claiming that I'm the #1 fan artist for Comicsgate,
Yep.
and if you have a competition without me, it's a sham.
Yeah. It's having enough self-confidence to ask for opportunities to show your work to people without kind of being like the obnoxious person who's constantly just saying, look at my stuff, look at my stuff, look at my stuff. You have to have enough confidence to put yourself out there because no one's going to market your work for you as well as you can. You just also have to have a sense about, what do I contribute? Because by doing that, you were contributing art to the stream. You weren't just asking for like free promotion and not contributing
airtime.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I kind of got that. I won that little fan art competition, and I don't know if you noticed that Mike Miller has at Blacklist Universe has a channel called Drawn and Quartered, where a bunch of professional artists go and compete. So what I did, because I was the first person to win this little fan competition, I went over to Mike's channel and I started harassing him, telling him, "Oh, you guys are chumps and you're scared to have me on because I'm going to win,"
Now, how did it turn out? Tell us the end of that little story.
Because they go on their channels, and that's what I would do to market myself. Is I would go on these channels, make sure these people knew my name. I would go in there, and if I had to, I would give myself a budget every week of a certain amount of super chats to send, and I would send these super chats, and they were just essentially harassment super chats, like "you guys are no good," your mama wears combat boots or whatever. And essentially, if you don't have me on, it's because you're scared. So eventually they said, okay, well, if you think you're good enough, come on. So I kind of opened up that avenue. So now the people that win that little competition, the fan competition, get a seat at the big table to compete against the pros.
Yeah.
And I was the first one to do that. And I went over there and I beat them because I went over there and I talked the trash that I need to talk. You have to get out there and promote yourself to the point where people are like, we need to find out what this guy's all about because he's making a lot of noise, Now,
by putting yourself out there, you've had less than stellar performance in some of these, right? Like you haven't always like magically beaten every artist you've gone up against in some of these friendly competitions, right?
So far, I have.
That's the thing. I seem to remember last time you were on, you were telling me about how you put yourself on one of these, and the consensus was that you didn't win, but you need the point is you need the self-confidence to put yourself out there a little bit. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Because people want to be your fan.
Yeah,
and
that's one of the stunning things to me about like the drama of comics Twitter is for half of it are people who I'm rooting for them to succeed. I want to live in a world with lots of fun stories and art. I don't want to live in a world without fun stories and art. So I'm naturally inclined to be rooting for people as they're making art and telling stories. And I think you just have the attitude of I'm in this to succeed. I'm in this to, I want to succeed on my own, but I also want to succeed with other artists. You've got the right attitude, I think, to produce work that people want to see.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, doing these drawings, it's fun. It's comic books, you know? And it's at the most basic grassroots level, and it doesn't look polished with bright, big colors, but this is comics books, you know,
Now,
and this is super fun to do.
now it looks like you're how close are you to approaching finishing this one? Because it looks like you're down to like the finest little details at the end for this illustration.
Yes, I am. This one's about 98% complete. I just got to go in and fine tune these twigs that do not look like twigs and make them look like twigs.
Yeah. My teacher always used to say, "Don't draw what you imagine a tree to be, like a fluffy cloud on a trunk. Draw what you see."
Yeah, like this is not what trees look like. What I'm doing right now, these final touches, putting these little nodes in here where the branches offshoot from, this is what a tree actually looks like.
Yeah, and if you draw enough, then you start to get, it's almost like muscle memory, or you can rely on your experience to guide you. With once once you practice it, like once you get past the I'm going to draw a tree as like a big giant two lines with a couple squigglies in it phase,
Mhm.
then you start feeling it out.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the trees, like, see how I'm kind of working out this area here,
Yeah.
looking more like actual trees. That's all I have to do for the rest of this year. Then this will be finished. This will be ready to go.
Now, do you have a glass drawing table?
I do. Yeah, I made the mistake of doing that.
Well, I got one because it was an economical option. So you, me, and Lyle Convoy Reviews all have a glass drawing table. I don't know if yours is the exact same brand of mine, but it's a nice like when I was a kid, I used to own like a really nice white one, like the pros would have, and then I had to scale down.
Mhm.
I don't mind the glass drawing table I've got. I mean, you can make a studio work on a pretty tight budget as long as you're committed to just working at it, I think.
Oh yeah, none of this stuff is required.
Yeah.
Like nothing anymore. I mean, back in the day, it used to be you had to have certain tools and materials.
Yeah.
That is not the case anymore. You can pick up a piece of charcoal and start just chopping away at a piece of paper plate. If you take a picture of it, it's a comic. You know.
Yeah. That's a
There
great
too.
illustration. We should make that a challenge. The
Yeah.
charcoal paper plate challenge. All
No, because I mean, if you can make a mark on a paper, you can scan it in, and it can be anything. You
right. Amen.
know.
All right. Let's make when I have you and some of these other artists on. It doesn't have to be charcoal on a paper plate, but we should have like a on the cheap drawing challenge or something to build up for Tales from Beyond the Gate.
Oh yeah, that'd be perfect.
Bring our used up pens.
Like look at Ethan. He just did one. What is it? He called it the Foot Vader, where he did a Darth Vader with his foot.
I drew with my feet once in a drawing class. It was, what was it for? It was a drawing class that was all about like trying to break down, what you thought you knew about drawing and trying to get you to think about drawing in a new way. So the teacher would keep, giving us new materials to work with, or we'd draw with sticks, that kind of stuff. It's an interesting way to think about drawing, because if you're used to drawing, like just out of habit, it breaks you out of your comfort zone. It makes you try to like think smart. Like, okay, how do I draw when I have to draw left-handed or with my non-dominant hand, or draw something upside down?
Yeah, I mean that stuff is fun. And the thing is, like, there's so many artists. Like, there's artists out there that put out comic books that don't even do inks. They just have really tight pencils, and that's the comic, you know. So I mean, I don't. When you're young, you can do, if you have the chops, you can outperform other people with a number two pencil on lined paper.
By the way, Jonah Arts asked, "What kind of pen are you using, and where can you get it?" And that's one of those pens where you fill it with water, and that it flows out the top, right?
Yes, but what I do is I just fill it up with a very weak ink.
Huh?
So I used the Higgins Black Magic.
Yeah,
It's yeah, I'm sure you've seen it. It looks like this.
yeah. I've used
That's
one.
that's just what I fill this up with completely. I don't use any water. But
Wow.
you got to be a little careful, because every now and then, if you're not careful, the vent on the side will bubble and then put a big drop that will drop all the way down your paper.
Yeah. So I've never used it that way. The way I used it was for kind of like a Chinese style, where the ink is slowly fading away, so you can get a lot of faded lines on it, but it's hard to get consistency. So your way of doing it, you can get a consistent gray because you're just feeding the same slightly watered down ink through it. That's a clever solution there. I'm going to steal that one from you.
By all means. No, and the thing is, like, I got the Copic liners, I got the little, the microns, and they're all the same. As long as you're just using archival ink, it's fine. Doesn't matter how. I mean, they're all just delivery methods to put, like, it's like fishing poles. It's just a way to get the bait to the fish. It's just a way to get the ink onto the page the way you want it, and however you want to do it, that's how you do it. There's no wrong way to do it.
Yeah. We got some people who are interested in competing in an on the cheap art contest, and I think that might be like the goal on this live stream. Then you can come to throw super chats at me and get on my on the cheap art contest. You don't
Absolutely.
have to throw super chats at me if you want to join an art contest, John Dillard GPS. But
I will throw super chats at you. I mean, yeah, your channel's great. I love your channel.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Maybe Dillard will be the secret to me finally unlocking monetized status at this rate. Oh, we've got a lot of interest. Okay, I'm going to make this a thing. So we've got so many artists who are interested in the idea of an on-the-cheap drawing contest that I can't commit to like a time right now, but I promise you guys I'm going to find a time where I can host an on-the-cheap drawing contest, and I'll start sending out invitations to that. And if you missed the first one, don't worry, because I think that's too good an idea not to have that as a regular thing. Now, how are we going to like enforce the on-the-cheap aspect of it? Maybe the rule is you cannot buy any art supplies for it, and you can't use or you have to pick the worst art supplies you have in your house. How would you enforce that?
I got a really, really fat off-brand crayon I can work with.
There we go. Yeah. So the rule is you have to pick what you are confident is the worst drawing supply in your house on the day of the stream to participate.
Yeah.
You can't go buy anything that isn't in your house. Now, if you have like a crummy #2 pencil and like an old essay from high school that has some blank stuff on the back of it, you can use that and you can join the stream as long as you. Underworld Bloom says, "What's the prize, huh?" A roasty award. I'll have to think about that too. There's gotta be a prize for the winning on the drawing contest. I think the rule it'll be like what is it? Whose line is it anyway? The rules are made up and the prizes don't matter. The points don't matter.
What is that from?
I think it's either from Whose Line Is It Anyway, or it's from like the British version of that Whose Line ripped off.
Oh my goodness, we got Joshua Hughes up in here.
Really? I missed it.
Pope Fire will be live soon. See you later. John Dillard, the fan chap, winner of all competitions, leader of the Gatekeepers, the John Tank, Rick, and Friends show. Hail Raven.
All right. So for those who don't get it, Pope Raven and Pope Fire is a kind of Twitter contest to see who's better between Raven and Starfire. Is that basically the gist of it?
It's essentially, yeah, Pope Fire. Pope Raven just essentially follows Pope Fire around and tries to outdo her everywhere she goes and changes her name to fix her name and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I was working on a commission earlier today. Let me pull this out. And it was a olive branch extended by Pope Fire to Pope Raven. This is actually going to be a gift for Pope Raven for Christmas, and it was a.
Who's kissing who there?
This is Pope Fire kissing Pope Raven or Raven Outlaw. Because Pope Fire just named her name to Pope Fire Outlaw, so okay. Of course Pope Raven changed her name to Raven Outlaw.
Okay.
That's why she's wearing a cowboy hat. But this is a commission I was working on for her, because this is her way of saying we should squash this beef.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're good friends of our shows and our channels. Let's see, yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. They're endlessly hilarious in the chat, man. They're really, really quick and really witty.
It's neat when you have like regulars showing up. Like I've started to notice regulars from my video game content, and it's such a strange experience because I was like talking so much with the indie comics community, and I never want to leave indie comics because I'm such a comics fan, but then you get like a whole group of new people who have maybe some overlapping interests, but they're into their own thing. Like they're more into video games and they're less into comics. So I'd really love if this channel could kind of become a place where, you know, if I'm helping introduce people to artists, you know, maybe find some new audience who would be interested in, you know, scary comic stories or other kind of comic stories. Because I think that there's still a broad appeal to comics. It's just a matter of like getting a new generation hooked on it. And once you're hooked on it, it's one of the best entertainment mediums there is.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got a good suggestion, and I will donate the prize. The prize can be tree fitty. $3.50 prize.
Could the could the prize be the $3?
Absolutely. No, I think that's a fantastic way. We were actually thinking about doing some sort of another drawing competition on our channels because people love the drawn in quarter. They love the drawn in quarter fan edition, but they don't want to wait all week to do it. And they want drawing competitions more often. So we were thinking about doing another one. But doing this drawing competition on the cheap would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Now, are you just using your phone for your camera?
No, I'm using a little Logitech external camera.
I'm gonna have to invest in one of those because my problem with my live streams is I'll just like put my laptop on a scanner and point it down, and it doesn't show like fine details that well. But you can steal the drawing on the cheap idea and host that, and I'll probably start hosting some of those myself.
I'll do that. I will. That would actually be a really good idea. That'd be super fun.
350.
Yeah, tree fitting. That's the prize. Make sure you got a PayPal opened up so I can wire you 350 when you win.
Yeah. The host has to pay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Did you already have the outline on there, or did you just add that?
No, I already had that on there.
Okay, I didn't notice that before. Jonah Arts suggests Crayola crayon and crappy #2 pencil. Underworld Dream says a washable giant sidewalk chalk. Those sound like excellent entries for this idea.
Oh yeah.
All right. The last time I had you on, you were doing comic art for a project about a boxer, and he was the descendant of Samson. Could you remind me of the title for that?
Yeah, that was The Last Judge.
The Last Judge. What's the progress on that?
That one has actually, I got a couple of more pages done on that, but I had to stop that because I really want to put my energy into the Tales from Beyond the Gate.
Okay, so that's something we might expect in the future, but Tales of Beyond the Gate is the most immediate thing you're working on.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, I was telling people, my crew, my little group here, is that the gatekeepers, is that this book is going to be great because you'll get your name out there. You'll be more exposed. So when you do drop your personal Indiegogos or your personal projects wherever they go, you'll have recognition. You'll have platform to do that. You know, and the thing is, if everybody is out there, like let's say I work on Mondays, somebody else is not working on Mondays, and they can go on YouTube and essentially every day of the week, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, somebody in this project is going to be talking to somebody on YouTube about this project.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in everyone's mouths.
Good. Marketing 101.
Yes. So that's the whole point of it. So yeah, if you got this, I mean, if you're promoting just your portion of the book, if that's what you want to do, the book still contains everybody else. You know, everybody's, you know, a rising tide raises all ships.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that's promoting this is promoting for everybody else. So that's why I think this book is going to be such a success, especially in our little area of YouTube.
Yeah, and I really want to introduce it. You know, our area of YouTube is a great starting point, but kind of the beauty of YouTube is the opportunity to introduce it to new people because, you know, there's a hunger for good stories and people want to see what, you know, the new artists of their day are up to. I think I've always wondered, like, why be an artist? Why be a writer? Why continue making stories if all the great stories have been written? And the reason is that artists can come up with new solutions to old problems, or they can just make something fun. And the very act of watching something new come into existence, that's an appeal factor to it.
Right, right, right. Yeah, it is. Oh, this is a good idea. If the competition gets bigger, the reward should become new art supplies. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, people out there and they want to compete and they're competing and they're doing great artwork with sidewalk chalk. Why not throw these people a pack of multi-liners?
Yeah, definitely. I think the rule should be you can buy some junky art materials like the week before if you want to use those, but the day of you have to use whatever's in your house that can theoretically make a mark on something.
Yeah.
Like a piece of coal out of your fireplace. If you can demonstrate you can draw a line with a piece of coal out of your fireplace, you get to join.
Okay, I'm not even joking here,
Yeah.
but I have done this is a technique I learned from my dad, who was a jailbird when he was younger.
Wow.
But if you don't have something to ink with, what you can do is you can burn a plastic spoon.
Huh.
The ash from the plastic spoon is so toxic and black that if you catch the smoke, you can scrape that off and mix it with water, and that will turn into ink.
Oh, good grief. Yeah, not FDA approved, but
And that's what people in the jailhouses would do. They would mix it with water,
yeah,
or sometimes saliva, and that powder residue from the burnt spoon, and they would
yeah.
use that to do jailhouse tattoos.
A plastic spoon?
A white plastic spoon, yes.
Oh, man, smell
Or
the
fork or knife or whatever.
I love it. Draw with pure cancer. It's great.
Yeah, there you go.
What it's a testament to is that nothing can stop you from being an artist if you have the gumption to go for it.
Hmm. Yeah, there's nothing at all but you standing in your way.
Jonah asked, when would this competition start? So all I'm going to say is I'm going to do my scheduling after the live stream, and I'll probably make a video announcement of when I'll start it, how often I'll do it, and I'll probably have a mix of people who I really want to invite, and then maybe like invite a few people through some kind of random process. So there's like an element of like fairness and no gatekeeping to it, but I can also have on artists I'm familiar with and would love to compete with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I seen your artwork. You ain't no slouch either.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, that's
I
a
get into it because I love like I've had like a few like phases of my life, and I kind of like my early phase was I was like a completely ridiculous photorealist, and I'd spend like 90 hours on a painting getting like every whisker. And then I had like teachers who just sort of encouraged me to be a little bit more free about it. And then I went all the way to like the other extreme of like, crazy hippie art. So I've run the gamut, but I really love the opportunity to just cut loose and relax while drawing with other artists. I haven't had that opportunity since art school, really.
Yeah, it's really fun about our channels is that we go on there and we talk about the projects we're working on and we talk about other stuff, but at the same time we got a little panel there of 6 or 7 artists just sitting down drawing
Yeah.
and talk, and it's almost like how people used to imagine the Marvel bullpen.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is, because you're sitting around saying, "Hey, what's going on with your foot over there? Why don't you fix that?" And we're not exactly nice to each other too, because why be nice when you can make better artwork?
Yep.
Everybody got pretty thick skin, so we'll say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is terrible. You need to fix this. What are you doing?"
Well, that's the thing, is that's really the culture I think every young artist needs to learn. Every young artist thinks that if they're criticized, that's the end of their ability to work. What you need to take from that is look at every piece of criticism as a free opinion, and not every opinion is like everyone has an opinion, but every opinion you're given, even if it hurts your feelings, is an opportunity for you to identify what you can do to succeed. Right? It's free advice. It's free advice.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like we razz each other and we jab each other, but the things that we suggest to each other are actual improvements.
Yep.
It's not just you stink for the sake of you stink. It's like, no, you're putting this head on at the wrong angle. You need to squat it down more towards the neck. It would never look like that. And the thing is, things like that would resonate with artists, where they say, and because artists in general are so sensitive, I know I am. When somebody gives me a critique that's harsh and real, and it's an actual real critique, that something that I am really doing wrong, not just their style preference, it stays with you. You remember it. You remember the harsh critiques, and you from then on make corrections. You know.
One of your interests to the internet was you submitted to Ethan Van Sciver's brutally honest portfolio reviews, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that experience and what you learned from it.
Yeah, that was great because I had previously I had never done sequential artwork. That was my first foray into sequential artwork, and I had no idea exactly how much work it was going to be with perspective. And I submitted to the portfolio reviews so he could look at my stuff and give me some critiques, and he tore it apart.
Yeah,
he tore me a new one, and it was actually when I sat back because I watched that video 7 or 8 times over and over again, and it was actually one because the thing is I do render things to the extreme, so he took interest in it. So when he did my video, it was the first time he actually spent more than 20 minutes on a video. He was critiquing my artwork for like almost close to an hour.
Yeah.
and the whole time I'm just sweating and cringing, you know? But
yeah,
it was very good. Everything he was saying was spot on.
Oh yeah, download that and like put that in like a pristine place on like multiple hard drives, because that's something to get like a pro sincerely talking about your work honestly. That's what the whole point of portfolio reviews used to be, is you'd go find a pro at a convention usually, and you'd ask for a chance to show them your portfolio, and you'd get torn a new one.
Yes, absolutely. And Ethan Van Sciver, he's a very, very accomplished artist.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get, you get somebody that's actually looking at your stuff and taking the time to really, really look at your stuff and tell you what you're doing wrong and how you can make it better, you got to pay attention to that stuff. That stuff is gold. It's few and far between. And people do wait in line. They buy tickets to cons and they wait in line for a long time to get somebody to spend, 2 minutes looking at their stuff,
Yeah.
So if you can get a real good artist to really sit down and look at your stuff, you got to treasure that, because that's very valuable. Which I was so appreciative of what he did for that, and I think he's actually starting to do again now that he's opened up that second channel, that all caps comics, where he's going to be focusing maybe on drawing again. So definitely get on that.
I'd like to return to your art a little bit. If you're not in the middle of this one, is there any other art from your process that you could show us, maybe to give us a little glimpse into what's going on in your artistic your artistic life over there? Sneak previews.
Let me see, because I got everything in a big old stack behind me.
All right.
Because I'm working on a bunch of stuff at the time. Yeah, and then we also do a lot of promotion for each other.
Yeah.
Like our channels. So we have like another guy in our group named King Booster, who does that, and so I'm drawing a little and this is stuff that you do as an artist all the time, is you have these scrap pieces of paper, and we're drawing the Booster Boys, which are manly, ultra hetero males that work out and rub oil on each other.
What? Okay. Which Booster Boy is which there?
This is actually King Booster overseeing the workouts, and this is going to be me here, and I'm stepping it up to 7.5 pound weights.
Okay.
Making sure I don't hurt myself. But yeah, honestly, like other than that, I mean, we have all kinds of, like, we do little fan arts. Like I did a little fan art for Folk Fire. There's one.
Nice.
Teen Titan style. Drawing along with the Tales from Beyond the Gate. This is my Chitara.
Nice.
Me drawing along with the drawn and quartered. And yeah, we do. Yeah, this was mine when I was drawing along, because I wasn't able to compete for the Freddy Krueger competition draw.
All right.
Wasn't able to compete, so I did one on the side of Lobo.
All right.
So it's just stuff like that. It's all It's all because this community is so ever changing and fast paced. Like I just have reams and reams and reams of paper behind me of stuff that I'm just drawing all day long, and it's all really fun because it's all people it's all characters that you are getting familiar with and getting to know, especially the independent characters like the Skunk Girl, Scalpel Zero, Canadian Shield, all those little tiny titles that aren't even out yet, but you get to talk to the people, and you get to see how they feel about these original characters that they're coming up with, and falling in love with them, like the Sporkmans, and it's fantastic.
That might be a nice thing for us to consider for live streams we do in the future, is maybe celebrate an indie comic project that is like either has a campaign going or needs support, and we'll make that the theme of like the drawing competition. For example, everybody draws Sporkman, right? Something like that. So that's something I'd like to keep in mind for future, is to maybe use like our live streams as an opportunity to celebrate artists that we want to support in the community.
Absolutely. Like I know for Tank Ferret, he's been on Good Dog Press's channel because he hasn't had the equipment yet to start up his own YouTube, and he's finally doing that this weekend, and he's having his big inaugural live stream, to kick off his channel. And the thing is, he's been doing artwork with us since day one.
Yeah.
So we're all going to go on there and we're all going to draw his character, Scalpel Zero.
Nice.
So it's going to be really fun.
When's that happening?
That's this Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday from noon to 8 o'clock Pacific.
Okay. Pacific time, noon to 8 o'clock. Wait, you're going 8 hours?
Oh yeah.
Yo,
that's the thing, is we are on. When we go on, like, we're serious about this. When we go on until we can't be on anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I love drawing marathons. Like one of the first things I did, not one of the very first things I did, but one of the very first drawing live streams I did was I called it Jawbreakers. I think I drew the Jawbreakers characters for like 8 hours.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
That was when they were having the campaign, correct?
That's right. It was the early days of the campaign. Yeah.
It was the end of the first 30 days, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
Because
I was watching you.
That's the other thing I love, is when like I love short bursts of drawing, but I also love like long, exhausting, physically demanding periods of drawing, because then you start having to get like creative. Like when your back starts, you might like stand up and hold the pen at a funny angle so you can give your back a break, or like I don't know, lie down and draw or something. It really becomes like a workout at that point. It
does, yeah. And but the thing is, when you draw, like, people don't get it. People always ask, "Oh, doesn't your hand cramp up? Doesn't this happen?" Like, no, you when you draw, and you draw every day, I mean, it's just like breathing. You can sit down and doing 2 hours, like they were talking about last night on Good Dog's channel. Like, if you do 2 hours on a competition, it's nothing. It goes by so fast, and you just keep on going. And once you get acclimated and you've drawn for like 3 or 4 days straight, every day for a couple hours, your hand no longer cramps. Okay. You want to get back onto the board and start drawing. And it's great, but doing the live streams, the cramping of the back and all that stuff, and it's fun, but it is a workout.
Jonah Arts has a question for you, John Dillard. He asks, would you get Mark Crilly on the team? Do you know who that is?
I do not know who that is.
Okay, well, Jonah, if we could be introduced to Mark Crilly, we could definitely send out an invite.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, we're looking for people. That's what I'm doing here right now. I'm actually looking for people to be in on this project with us.
Really, the key lesson is, if you are looking for opportunities to draw with people, there are opportunities. You just got to like introduce yourself, be cool. Don't be like a whiny baby, and find and hang out, draw with them, and chat about their work. It doesn't take that much to meet a lot of independent comic artists, because the independent people are looking for opportunities, and so just you talking about them or sharing their live stream, that's a big deal to up and comers, and it's a great way to network and meet some people and find some opportunities to draw your characters or draw somebody else's characters, and meet people who are going to be your peers in the field.
Yes.
All right.
Well, here is I just found this right now, but this is actually one of the pages that I'm working on for the story of La Llorona, because the one I'm actually working on right now is called Lydia.
Yeah.
It's a story about demonic possession.
Yeah.
But this one right here that I'm showing right now is a story for the Llorona, where there's some sort of a gambit going on where these two teens know that there's only one of them that's going to be able to survive. So they have to end up going up at each other. So this is what I was working on for that one. So Dramatic stuff. And but the thing is, these stories are going to be very, unfortunately for these stories, because they're so short, they're only 8 to 12 pages.
Yeah.
You can't really give too much away, because then you'll give away the whole story.
Right. It's a short story of that length. There has to be a lot of economy of space, and it's got to have like a quick punch to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's what's cool, because I used to read the old, I don't know, you remember the books called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
No, I don't.
And they had it was a real cool book, and everybody had it in my school, because it was in the library. And when they would go, I don't know if you remember, when the libraries, you would go, they would have book selling days, and people would
Yeah.
go and buy books. Everybody would buy this book because it was a nice big fat book, and it was just a compilation of urban legends. But they had really cool artwork on them. It was real scary, real spindly little ink marks and ink washes and drops, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
And the artwork was fantastic. And it was just a whole, and some of them were just one-page stories, but a lot of them were just 3 or 4 page spooky stories.
Uh-huh.
Which is, and I think I sent this file out to all the people, like, we want to do it in this vein, in this style, in this feel. We want the atmospheric horror, not just the shock scare, or the doing the story for the shock of the maturity rating. Like, no, we want this to have atmospheric horror. Like, we want it to, you pick up the book, and it's going to look scary just to look at it. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the big thing about visual storytelling, is either the style has to fit with the tone of the story, or it's got to contrast in such a way that it makes it work. Like, maybe a cute style would work for a horror story if the whole point is that the cute characters are supposed to freak you out. But for most horror stories, yeah, having that vibe, to just take one look at it and say horror story, that's such a hugely important part of what makes these kind of stories work. It's good to be able to pick up a superhero story and say superhero story, or pick up a manga and say manga. So maybe talk a little bit about that. So you put out an invite for artists and writers to contribute to Tales from Beyond the Grave. You've mentioned that you can be a small time person. You don't have to be a big time professional. The most important thing is that what fans you have, that you're like respectful and professional with them. Tell us a little bit about. Are there any other expectations you have for people who'd like to contribute to Tales from Beyond the Grave?
Oh, Tales from Beyond the Gate.
Sorry, Tales
But
from Beyond the Gate.
yeah, realistically, what we want is, we want somebody that's going to be gung ho about this project.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. I mean, yes, you need to be respectful to your followers and your fans. You need to be, you need to believe that these stories are important, and you need to put your best foot forward. But realistically, if you're jazzed about this idea, we want you.
Yeah.
Because we want you out there talking about this book. We don't want to have somebody, even if it's a real big name, if they're going to say, oh yeah, also I put a couple of things towards this. It's like, no, I love this project, and I'm going to bleed for this project, and I want people that contribute to it to be excited about it, because this is going to be, like, in my opinion, this is probably the one best good way to really make it.
Yeah.
And this is something exciting. So I'm excited about it. And if you can get behind it and are excited about it, I definitely want you on the team.
Yeah. For a collaboration to work, there has to be an equal degree of commitment to seeing it to its success. Otherwise, it's like one of those group projects in school where one kid does all the work.
Right. And that's what we don't need. We don't need to, that. Oh man, that was an analogy that hit really close. So okay.
Jonah asked, how does one market if they don't know how to market? And I would really just say, you got to teach yourself through trial and error, I think. And like sure, there are books, and there's like practical advice about marketing yourself. I think it's partially paying attention to people who've done it well, and partially practicing it yourself.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I ain't no savant when it comes to marketing either. I'm just a dumb guy that draws pictures. But you got to get with those people that do know and really pay attention.
Yep.
Because you can't just be in this arena of independent comics. You can't just be a penciler. You got to be a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really only like the top cream of the crop who get to pick the type of assignments they work on, and all of them had to put in their time, doing grunt work. I laugh at John Layman a lot because I'm reading a lot of comics where he was just working as a letterer, and now he's like trying to write these indie hits, but not being a super professional. I don't get it. Like, you put all the work into just getting on top of the Western comics field, and then you kind of throw that away just by being rude to a lot of people. Meanwhile, Japan is just like laughing at all of us and just raking in the bucks.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you really gotta pay attention to what people want, because people will tell you what they want if you open your ears and listen.
Yeah.
And if you listen to what people want, they will shower you with accolades and cash.
Yeah.
Like, I already had to close down my commissions list.
Good for you.
Because I wanted to, work on this project, and I was getting almost every day a new DM in my Twitter for a commission, and I gotta say, okay, I'm done right now. I'm done with commissions, because if you give people what they want, you put out the quality, you're enthusiastic about it. And I was working on some of the commissions on my live streams and when I do my morning show, and people like to see that. They like to see their project being worked on by artists, and I interact with them, and that's what people want. So I was getting, request after request, and now I got to shut that down and work on this project. But yeah, I mean, people will give you money if you give them what they want and you treat them with respect.
Maybe you won't go so far as drawing a bunch of triple X furry stuff, though, right?
Well, who said that?
No, I've just spent half my time convincing people I'm not a furry because I have a Great Dane. Because I just so happen to be a cartoon Great Dane in real life, and everyone assumes I'm a furry for some reason.
Oh, Marmaduke, you want me to draw you a furry? Just hit me in the DMs. And,
oh God. Oh boy.
Give you a good discount.
My family watches this channel. They all know. I'm just gonna encourage you to draw more embarrassing stuff.
No, I like drawing embarrassing, and that stuff right there. It's really good because my pencils and my inks are very tight and labor intensive. So when I get a chance to draw some greasy booster boys, why not? It's fun, Doesn't take too long. Gives you a nice break, and then you're still putting out content. Because if you're out there and you're trying to be a comic artist or any kind of artist, you need to be pumping out content every single day.
Right.
So everything, it doesn't matter what I draw. If it comes out looking wonky, I'll still take a picture of it and throw it up on Twitter.
Yeah. Like, be willing to risk yourself by putting always make content. Never stop making content. Carl's Amateur Hour says Marm is a closet furry. Oh God. One of these days I'm gonna get doxxed and my reputation will be ruined forever.
Nah, you're good. People love you.
Yeah.
Look at your channel. It's blowing up.
I know. It's nice. Well, the YouTube algorithm guides give it, the YouTube algorithm guides take it away. But I'm definitely going to try to use this opportunity to maybe try to bring in a little gaming into my channel, because if a lot of people are interested in watching, like, the problem I always had is I thought, gee, everybody and their cat plays video games on YouTube. There's no way I'm going to be able to break into that. And then this sort of just like dropped into my lap that I had just like recorded myself playing this game and people were interested in it. So I'm at least going to try to explore, because I don't game that much. I'm joined by Gaming the System. I don't game that much anymore, but if I'm going to game at all, I might as well like share my my thoughts on it, my experiences with it with people, and maybe grow this channel. But I'm mostly an artist. I'm not much of a gamer, but I'm perfectly happy to that's the thing that we were talking about this earlier, is if people want something, try to give people what they want. And if people are really interested in content from this game, then yeah, I'm going to try to find some content from this game, because I'm interested in growing this channel and making more opportunities to celebrate the arts. That's what this channel is Number One Marmaduke Fan is kind of a weird channel. It's got a lot of weird content on it, but the consistent thread throughout it is I want to celebrate artists, and that can be artists who are working in the medium of video games. That can be artists who are working in the medium of comic art. That can be traditional art. But that's what I really want this channel to be.
Yeah. Speaking of speaking of furries, I'm actually working on another comic book with another guy who's
Oh,
doing
no.
a anthropomorphic snow leopard. So this is some of the stuff that I'm working on for that. These are some of the sequentials.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I've been doing this on my morning show too. Is the snow leopard climbing outside the building? She's gonna snatch this guy up out of the window and toss him into the street.
yeah.
But yeah, this is, and the thing is, yeah, all this stuff is great, and it's only because of that channel that I got this guy that actually to give me actual American money to give him drawings. You know what I
Ooh.
mean?
Yep.
And you put this content out every day, and people will snatch it up.
Yeah. I think people are just fascinated by the idea of watching an artist work. And, like my own channel is just like a little metaphor for this, where I just kind of like started out yelling at a comic book because I was sad and frustrated, and I'd have that like whole period where I was in a closet and the closet light would turn off on me, and I'm just so thankful, every day that I have people interested to just hear what I have to say, and that I have a chance to. Uh, like getting to chat with John Malin, getting to chat with Ethan Nicole. Like I wouldn't believe that I was going to get to interview Ethan Nicole from Axe Cop, because I just completely dug Axe Cop. That was like my favorite thing on planet Earth for a while.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, yeah, this community it's out there, and people think that like it's kind of like when Twitter first exploded. Like, oh my
Yeah,
goodness, I can actually get in touch with these people that are in my eyes super famous. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's like, oh wow, and that's exactly what this YouTube community is. It's getting you to be able to actually get in touch with these people and realize that I can also do this if I really give it the old college try and put my mind to it. I can be out there and be one of these professionals. So I mean, it's very exciting, especially right now in Comicsgate.
What are some maybe like beyond Tales from Beyond the Gate? I know that you're focusing on that primarily as your project right now, but once that's completed, you've also mentioned how Tales from Beyond the Gate could expand to sci-fi, to noir. Tell us about some other hopes you have for comics in the future.
Well, I want to have that as sort of a landing pad.
Yeah,
The Tales from Beyond the Gate. So if I can have the Tales from Beyond the Gate as a landing pad and get and meet and collaborate with new independent artists all the time, because I would want ideally to have a core group of people that continually contribute to Tales from Beyond the Gate. But if that's not in the stars, we can always bring in new talent, and we can let the successes and failures of the individual stories dictate what's going to be in the next one, who's going to be contributing to the next one. If you want to bring in that same character you just did, like we have a guy Tank Ferret who's putting in his character Scalpel Zero. If people like her and it resonates with people, and the next time this book comes out and it's sci-fi, put her in a sci-fi story.
yeah,
If there's a noir story, put her in a noir story.
yep.
I mean, this is like back in the days when Marvel used to release these and DC used to release these anthologies. It was a way for these people to put out a bunch of characters and see what hits and what misses.
Yep.
Throw a bunch of baloney at a wall and see which one sticks.
Right. It is all audience driven.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what I believe is the core of Comicsgate, which is letting the audience choose what succeeds and what fails. Not forcing anything down anybody's throat, and taking the things that people like and giving them the platform that they deserve. Now, look, we have Manny from Good Dog Press. He's in the chat, and he is one of the contributors to the book. He's a Hawaiian. He's saying aloha.
Oh,
Aloha.
nice.
He's the one with the little skunk avatar on the thing. But yeah, and that's what's really exciting. And then, yeah, I have my own project I'd like to work on, which is my The Last Judge. But again, I'm gonna take my time with that. It's really labor intensive,
Right.
drawn real big and drawn real tight,
Yeah.
scratchy cross stitches.
For people interested in The Last Judge, look on my comics live streams playlist, and the last live stream I had with John Dillard, he was actually working on The Last Judge live, and we got to see some of the details of it. And it, like you just described it, it's definitely that. Like, this is a detailed piece of work you're showing us on the screen, but I think for The Last Judge, you're like up in the game and like going into like really fine line work, I think.
Yeah, and that's what really, when I was watching some of the Ethan Van Sciver videos where he was talking about his Cyber Frog, where everything is very, very meticulous. Like that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a premium product. Like
Yeah.
I wanted this book to be fantastic looking. So I'm really taking my time on it. And because I don't have anybody, I don't have anybody backing it. I don't have the pressure of getting it out there super fast, so I can really take my time.
You wanted me to remind you of this, but you wanted to talk a little bit about some of the artists who are linked in the description of this live stream. And could we go through them, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about, who they are, how you met these artists, and what kind of stuff they do?
Sure, sure, sure. So let me go here first. Let me go back and find this real quick because I didn't want to go too deep into it without getting that permission first. But since Manny's here right now, I guess I can go onto his channel and check. Okay, so yeah, Manny from Good Dog Press is one of the other collaborators, and let me screen share real quick. And he is working on a book, and he's Portuguese, and he's working on a folklore from Portugal. Yeah. So this is his channel here. He has a couple of books already out, and he's working on another book called Skunk Girl.
The Unbreathable Skunk Girl. I like the idea.
She's like a sort of a parody on the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. And yeah, look at there's another booster boy that somebody drew. This is good stuff. And then he has art of him drawing Cecil as Skunk Girl and that sort of thing. And like I said, we have fun on these channels. We do. And here's one of our other collaborators, Manny from Good Dog Press, drew Tank Ferret. Tank Ferret is actually an ex-military tanker, so he has his character is Ferret driving a tank. That's the thing, when you get into the community and people really they start to resonate when they hear your stories, and they hear, like, people don't think that their stories resonate with people, but they do. When you hear these stories about that other people are telling, like, you get interested in it. It gets in your craw, and you can't get it out until you start drawing it.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
I call it art that kind of works on your subconscious. The drawings in the back of your head, and you want to get it out of there.
Mm-hmm. Like this is Tank Ferret here. His name is Weston Duggan Starr on Twitter, but this is Tank Ferret Arts, and this is his character Scalpel Zero. And she was meant to be this is the apex predator. She is a android, a cyborg. So she has a couple of she has her own story going on, but this is going to be the style that Tank is going to be bringing to the horror.
Yeah.
And this is his original character, and we've all done fan art of his character too, and it's great. I mean, like, there's hold on a second. Oh yeah, there's Cross Comics, and Cross has a bunch of his own. Cross has a bunch of characters of his own. He's actually working on like 700 characters in his universe.
Wow.
We have Todd from Todd Mulrooney from his Twitter is Ignition. Get tuned in, and he was just on Drawn and Quartered fan edition that he tied for last doing this Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So you can see the amount of quality that the Drawn and Quartered fan edition has if this tied for last. You know what I mean?
I gotcha. Yeah.
Because this is really good, and this was 2 hours. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying competitive environment.
Yeah, super competitive environment, and that's what I think. Really, a super competitive environment, results in very skilled people. You up your game every time. And we have another guy, which is Chester Busby, which I'm sure you know who Chester Busby is.
You mentioned him earlier in the stream, and I know he goes by Bugbears, but you actually introduced me to him. So tell us a little bit more about
did I? Okay. Yeah, Chester Busby, he actually runs his own little crew over there. Aside from the gatekeepers, he has his own crew called the Fanspeak crew.
Yeah.
And they have their own channel where they go on, they talk about comics, they talk about Comicsgate, they talk about the pros, they talk about the independents. And he has and I actually had a competition, which is why Joshua Hughes and Pope Raven call me the winner of all competitions, because they had a competition for what was going to be the logo for Fanspeak. and I won the mascot competition. I
Nice.
drew a little mascot and won that. But yeah, he has a show, and he's on almost every single day, and he's on our shows a lot of times too, just hanging around and chit chatting. And very, very interesting guy, very smart. He speaks like, I think he reads and writes like 11 languages and can transform ancient cuneiform and all that stuff. But
Wow.
he actually lives in Japan, but he's a fantastic orator. And that's the thing, we're trying to get this, especially this guy here, which is Pixel Trader, who has the Indicron. He runs the Indicron. And he's the one that started and runs the Indicron, and that's what we're. And I know I back the Indicron, which showcases all of the independent Comicsgate books or Comicsgate adjacent books that are coming out.
Yep, I've been hearing people talk about that. Yeah,
and this is a way for us as a community, like me, Tank, Manny, Chester, Denali Lama, all of his crew over there, to kind of take some of the burden off of the big guys, because there's no reason that. If we can grow our channels to the point where we have a platform to support and promote independent books, that would do a lot to sustaining this thing longer term.
Yeah.
You know,
so you can't just have like 2 people who have a big audience and 1 million people who have no audience. You need to, the way culture works is you have to just constantly keep working at something and sort of come alongside your fellow artist writers, you know?
Absolutely. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for essentially on the YouTube, a middle class. We need a large, healthy middle class.
There we go.
People, people that have not just the subscribers of, 5 to 100 subscribers, and then you have the other guys that have 80 to 100,000 subscribers. We need a good core group of people that have 20, 30, you know?
Yep. Exactly.
If we can get that, we can sustain this thing indefinitely. And it would also take the burden off of it would take the burden off of the 1%ers like Ethan and Mike Miller, and put it back on the middle class.
Right.
Because not everybody can be on Ethan's show to get their thing launched, Yeah,
exactly. You reaching out, like, it can be like, it wouldn't hurt to like introduce yourself to big names to see if they can help you out. But the way the world works is, you have X number of hours in the day. You can't be a full-time artist and, broadcast for every single person in their project. You do have to put yourself out there a bit and, take rejection and keep looking for opportunities. Cause there's people like me, you've introduced me to so many artists, and they all seem to have their own shows in the day of YouTube. There are tons of opportunities for you to introduce yourself to people who are hungry to make content. And even just like making videos talking about people's comics is a type of content that people are hungry to be making. So we're almost blessed and cursed with too many opportunities to promote yourself and share your work.
Absolutely. It definitely is a blessing and a curse. And again, like I said, this guy, Doug Tenaple, Bigfoot Bill, who just funded for 123. Yeah. Like I think his artwork is fantastic, but I hate him personally.
Oh really?
On a personal level, I don't like Doug Tenaple. But
the thing for me is I knew of him through, Earthworm Jim and his independent comic projects, and suddenly he's in the scene inviting people onto his show. So, whatever personal feelings there are, that's a nice opportunity to get to chat with Doug Tenaple and, chat about, what you've liked about his work, maybe have a drawing competition with him, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And it's so cool because in this community, everything is so tight knit. Like, I think I was talking trash on Doug Tenaple and he was like, "Stop talking trash on me, dude." I was like, "Uh-oh, I better stop talking trash." This famous person is now giving me a scolding. So, it's fun. You don't realize that these people are lurking in your videos. With everybody, the thing is, these creators, they all love artwork and they love independent artwork. So when they got free time, they're checking everybody out too,
Exactly. That's the thing is I'm just kind of like, I'm blessed with too many artists to look at, in the age of the internet. I want to look at all their beautiful art. Stormblitz, who's a regular, asks if you do tutorials and you draw a lot, but not many of them are necessarily like, "Oh, hey kids, here's how to draw like a Pokemon or anything." You show yourself drawing a lot, but also talking about a variety of topics, right? Do you do any tutorials as well?
Right. Occasionally we do, because like we have a guy that's on our kind of in our circle right now named Hillel Penrod, and
Yeah.
he's an aspiring comic creator that's in Israel. And we were talking to him, and he'll come on sometimes and ask about his comic panels and say, "Hey, what can I do to make this? This doesn't look right. What can I do to make this more dynamic?" Or just put it out there and say, "Do you see anything wrong with what I'm doing?"
Yeah.
And then everybody, again, like we were talking about the Marvel bullpen, everybody will kind of chime in and say, "Yeah, you know what? You should do this. You should do this. You should not do that." I mean, we do have critiques and a little bit of tutorials, and we'll say, "You know what? No, you can't really explain artwork to somebody. You have to show them." So we'll flip our paper over and start doing a doodle of what we're talking about. You know?
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. I did a couple of tutorials earlier in my channel, but the thing was those were too time intensive to edit. So I had to stop doing that and just switch to doing the live. And I know that that's not preferable to somebody trying to learn, but it's what I have time for, because again, our time is precious and I only have so much hours in the day to work on comics and I have to get it all done.
Yep.
So, I mean, the thing is, if you do subscribe to my channel or any of our channels, occasionally, yes, we do have little tutorials on there
Yeah.
as we talk, because again, we just hang out and we draw.
Which
and
is
we try to be entertaining, but
yeah,
mostly we just hang out and draw.
a tutorial is one type of interesting content an artist can produce, but that's one type of content. Just watching someone draw silently can be interesting, I think.
Yes, and yeah, I do sometimes too. Like I know last night, Manny on Good Dog Press, he had his channel and he goes on for a long time. Like as soon as like around like 7 o'clock Pacific hits, he'll be on till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning, and they're constantly talking about how to, and they work digitally, so they'll constantly be talking about how to use different tools in the the digital programs like the clip studios and the photoshops and stuff like that. And yeah, they just hang out and they just help each other become more proficient, better artists.
By the way, we haven't had a chance to talk about all the artists you wanted to talk about, I think. I'm looking at Saifon's profile now. She goes by Last Snow Leopard. She's going to be contributing to Tales from Beyond the Gate, right?
No, we don't. Well, maybe, but
Okay.
not as of right now. That's actually the person that I'm drawing that book for.
Gotcha. All right.
Right. But yeah, and then we have another guy, Bill from Argos Creations, and I haven't had a chance to give his little icon up yet, but he's going to be contributing to the book as well with his own story.
Nice.
So you definitely go check out Bill from Argos Creations on YouTube.
For people who have maybe like joined the chat since the beginning of the live stream, I'd like you to maybe say a little bit again about who you are, what you do, and why you want to become like the next big giant awesome comic artist.
Okay, yeah, my name is John Dillard. I have a YouTube channel. It's called John Dillard Gaming the System, and on that channel, I talk about all number of things. We hang out, we draw, we make comics, and we have fun. And what we're looking at right now is we're working on doing a collaboration for an anthology called Tales from Beyond the Gate, which is right now it's just a bunch of people that are a bunch of YouTubers that were in Comicsgate, and they're creators and they want to make comics. So we're kind of using this as a platform to get ourselves known and out there. And so what we're looking for right now is we're looking for one more writer and 2 more artists to contribute and to be in our group, in our group, and to be collaborators on this book as well. And we got to, I mean, the book's going to be a success. We have too many people involved for it to not be talked about everywhere. And so it's going to be a success. And I think this book's probably going to be the best thing coming out from Comicsgate in 2019, because I mean there's so many people on it and there's so many different stories and the artworks are so varied and different, and it's almost like, for me, it's like an event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a big event. So I mean, and we need people to come in on that and contribute. And so if you have a YouTube channel and you're good to your people and you like making comics, hit me up on John Dillard Gaming the System. I check all my messages. Hit me up on my Twitter. It's John Dillard Gaming the System. My Twitter handle is JDillardGTS. Let me see if I can put that stuff in the chat. But but yeah, I mean, definitely hit me up and let me know what you're about. Let me see a couple of your pieces, what you work on, what your style is, what your stories, what you want your stories to be. And I mean, I think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, pretty much. If you say I want to be an artist or I want to be a comics writer, there are people like me and John Dillard who are just interested in chatting with you, and that's the beauty of Twitter. Is it's a tool to let you uh, chat with people. So just be chill, keep working at your stuff, and just be open for opportunities to join in on stuff. And there are opportunities to talk to us about your work.
Yeah, like I had somebody on yesterday. He's a writer, aspiring writer, and he was really nervous because he wanted to come on for a while. He wanted to come on my live channel for a while, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm not ready. Give me another week. Give me." I'm like, "Okay, dude, just let me know. Let me know. It's not a big deal. Just let me know, and we'll put you on whenever you want to come on." And if he finally came on yesterday, and he was like, "Oh man, this was like really easy. This is not hard at all." So I mean, yeah, all you have to do is just reach out, and it's not as intimidating as you think it is. And if you want to draw and you want to do that kind of stuff, let us know. We'd be glad to have you on and just chit chat.
Yeah,
You don't even have to have anything going on. Just come on and chit chat.
definitely. Storm Blitz asks, "What inspired you to become a comic artist?"
Hold on, there we go. Let me paste this. That is my link to my YouTube there. So if you want to go over there and check it out and subscribe, that'd be great. But yeah, definitely do that. And yeah, it inspired me to become a comic artist.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always thought that I couldn't do it, and then I always thought that it was too hard. So I never wanted to be a comic artist. I never did. I thought, oh, well, that seems like something that's so out of my reach that it's not something that I could do. Let me try something else. And then I had a buddy who was just telling me every day at work, you should make a comic book with me. You should make a comic book with me. So I said, well, let me do some research. Let me find out. So I started researching how to do comics and found out that, oh, this is actually not that hard at all. And I could probably do this. And I don't need a degree to do this. All I need is the chops to do it.
Yep.
And then that's when I was online researching up comics when I found you guys and Diversity in Comics. I was like, and I couldn't believe you. I was like, oh, these guys they're talking crazy. And then I went to my comic book store, which I hadn't been to in like 8 years. And I was like, oh my goodness, they're 100% correct.
Yep. It's not all YouTube drama.
It's not just like made up drama. It's real stuff. So yeah, it was that's how I kind of got into this arena here.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun. It's been really fun. Let's see. You hit him up individually, or wait, you can see.
I couldn't see your comment in the chat for your channel, so I went ahead and posted it just in case YouTube was being mad at. Sometimes YouTube gets mad at people trying to post links in the chat if it's not like the channel.
Oh yeah, I'm probably not a moderator, so.
Surprised they won't let you since you're like the guest. I don't know. I guess Google is evil and knows everything we do, but it doesn't know who my guest is.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to my channel. Go subscribe to Tank Ferret Arts, Manny Correa over there at Good Dog Press. I mean, and hit any of us up, because the thing is, we're just regular people, just like you guys, and we're trying to do something cool and do something fun, and we're making it happen. If you want to make it happen, hit us up.
I just want to add my recommendation: binge watch John Dillard Gaming the System. Like, get your drawing board and draw while you watch him. Like, not everybody uses Twitter. Like, I think like now it's like old people who use Twitter, and kids are too cool to use Twitter now. But that's a good avenue to reach us if you just want to make a Twitter just to reach out to some people and not like get caught up in all like the dumb Twitter drama. You use Twitter to reach out to people like us. So, and we'll hit you up, we'll chat with you. We'll do live streams. We'll have some fun. That's why I'm doing YouTube. Is I love art. I want to meet artists. I want to have some fun hanging with some people who want to make some cool comics. So,
absolutely,
John. Let's see here. It's getting a little late for me.
Who's my favorite comic book artist? That would be Mark Teixeira. He's the one that let me show you real quick before we head out.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite. That's the one that got me into comics, Mark Teixeira, and the artist, and he's the one that did the famous for his old Sabretooth, like the Steppenwolf.
Gosh,
that yeah. So he was the one that was like, oh my God, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
This great stuff.
Yep.
And it's all super 90s, but that's what I love.
Yeah, it's amazing when you find someone that speaks to you on like a level that you can't even describe, and then you can. When I look at, it's not like you just draw like you. It's not like you draw like him, but when I look at your style and I look at his, I say, yeah, I see the love.
Mm-hmm.
There's something of him in you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I've spent way too much time looking at that book and the 3 other books that come after it for it not to have influenced me in some way.
I'd like to give you the floor to let anyone know, like one last time for people who didn't catch it. 100% subscribe to John Dillard Gaming the System. Tell us where we can find you and on Twitter and YouTube.
Yes, absolutely. Please go subscribe to my channel. It's John Dillard Gaming the System. The link is in the chat right there. And that's where I hang out and I draw. And I appreciate every single person that comes by. And please come and just hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are wide open. Anybody can DM me, and I respond to every single person. So if you're interested in becoming a creator, if you're interested in coming in and just hanging out and having fun drawing and doing the paper plate challenge, whatever, just hit me up and just let me know, because I'm very interested to meet every single person in this community that's a creator.
Yep. And keep an eye out for Tales from Beyond the Gate, a collection of horror stories to start with, and hopefully more in the future. If you support it, it's really important to support artists who are producing work that you enjoy, because that's what kind of say more of this. Like I want to see Tales from Beyond the Gate succeed. I want to see the artists, use that as like a good, like you've said, like a booster or like a step up into maybe like jumpstarting their career. And all of you are welcome back on the #1 Marmaduke Fan show to talk about Tales from Beyond the Gate as you're making progress on that.
All right, so thank you very much, Marmaduke. I appreciate you. You're a great guy, and I really want to thank you for letting me on your channel. And I hope to see you again real soon.
You're welcome, and most definitely, I am looking forward to seeing you again soon as well.
Well, thank everybody. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you for hanging out and asking questions.
Thank you all, and looking forward to chatting with you guys more in the future. With that, #1 Marmaduke Fan, this has been John Dillard Gaming System. Peace. We're out.